Good evening, dear friends. 8 p.m. sharp, 8 p.m. Eastern Time here in New York City, where it's a beautiful 35 degrees. And I'm here to talk with you about a variety of stuff, which I can only begin to maybe try to explain why I'm so fascinated by this. There's a number of issues today which I find fascinating. And I'm going to be jumping back and forth repeatedly. Number one, Epstein, of course. Number two, a little bit later on, just to say, Obama mentions there are aliens and nobody follows up with any questions, any explanation, no nothing. And I think I know what that's about. We'll get to that later. The issue also is there's a fellow named Galernter. And I may be able to get to that. I'm not sure. But it's one of these stories that you might find really interesting because nobody really, it's a conspiracy theory, to use perhaps your words, that's the most interesting as to why this guy incurred the wrath of so many people. And it has nothing to do with any kind of Epstein connection or anything he said, but it has to do with perhaps disavowing any obeisance to the notion of Darwin. I know that may sound odd to you, but that's true. But the most important question, which I think is the most fascinating, is this never-ending resolving, or never resolving, seemingly unending case regarding the Guthrie. What would you call this? An abduction? I believe is going to be found to be a murder. I say that not lightly. I have obviously no beef against this poor woman, this elderly woman. Nobody deserves this. But to think that somehow she is being taken care of, though I hope it's true. God, I hope to God it's true. But I don't think anybody truly believes that's even remotely possible. I really don't. And for a variety of reasons. But I want to ask you, during the course of this, what do you think? What are the angles? Because I always turn to you. Because your insight is incredible. And the first question is, what do you think at this stage, 15 days after, I think the 31st, wasn't it, that she was taken? What do you think this is? Do you think, first of all, that there is any chance that she is holed up in some home, or she's being fed, she's being cared for by someone? Do you think that's possible? That's number one. Do you believe it was an abduction, a kidnapping? Do you believe this was a robbery or a burglary gone bad? And if so, why would you take her? We'll go through this. First, though, before we get started, let's do a couple of things here, right? The first I want to bring to your attention is this notion of kidnapping, abduction, false imprisonment. We use these terms repeatedly. I want to tell you what the law says about it, in Arizona in particular, because this is still most probably going to be a state crime. In Arizona and under federal law, they are distinct crimes, abduction, and that's kind of like that's a layperson's term. But let me break this down and give you an idea of what we're looking at in terms of kidnapping under Arizona law. Arizona Revised Statutes, Section 13-1304. Under Arizona law, listen to this, kidnapping occurs when someone knowingly, now listen to this, restrains another person. Not moves them, not grabs them, not takes them someplace else, restrains them. This is where the false imprisonment comes in. Where somebody knowingly restrains another person with, and this is important, with specific criminal intent. And the restraint must be coupled with one of the following purposes, okay? So you restrain the person. You can move into the home, hold her captive, hold her hostage. You don't have to move her anywhere. It's different than the usual abduction. But the intent is to hold the victim for ransom or as a shield or a hostage, as a human shield. That's number one. Or using the victim as a slave. How about that? Which kind of gets into the human trafficking, which is fraud, force, or coercion sort of the same thing, but they really overlap. Because if you have somebody as a slave or somebody who's doing, let's say, work for you, then it kind of gets into trafficking, but it's very similar. Or inflicting death, physical injury, or a sexual offense on somebody. Remember, restraining them to have them, remember, they haven't moved, but some type of death, physical injury, or sexual offense. Placing the victim in reasonable fear of imminent injury. So you don't really have to do it. You can go in, basically restrain the person and place them in fear of injury, or interfere with a governmental or police political function, or taking control of an aircraft, train, bus, ship, or other vehicle. That is what it is in Arizona. Okay? And restraint means restricting somebody's movements without consent and without legal authority. And this can be done by physical force, intimidation, deception, whatever. We can go through whether it's a class 2 felony, if the victim's under 15, is treated as a dangerous crime against children and carries enhanced penalties. If the victim is released voluntarily without serious injury before arrest, the charge may drop to a class 4 felony. So there's a lot that can be done now if they are alive. Remember, if the victim, once the person is deceased, then all bets are off. Then it turns into something more serious, as you can imagine. Now, the aspect of the federal sentence, federal charge is different. This is 18 USC 1201. This statute applies when the victim is transported across state lines. The offense occurs within special federal jurisdiction. The victim is a federal officer or a foreign official, or the offender travels interstate to commit the crime. So there may be some kind of federal jurisdiction, maybe in this. So it's really, sometimes the word false imprisonment, it's a restraint. It doesn't mean moving anybody. It could, doesn't have to, but it can. So I don't think anybody truly believes at this point there is anything other than this tragic end, I believe. Rafael Legonde says, I was a military police and National Guard. The first fishy thing, she is 85 years old and she came to have dinner on a Sunday and nobody drove her home. The son-in-law did. She had to take an Uber back home. Are you kidding? I believe, and thank you for your kindness, sir. I believe she took an Uber to the daughter's home and was driven back, I could be wrong, by Tommaso, whom Ashley Banfield has always maintained might be somehow the suspect. So I think that's what happened. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on. So many questions. How about the fact that the subscription to the, not the Ring, they're very adamant about that, but the Nest phone, not the Ring. Okay, it's a Nest phone. Okay, take it easy. But that's that. There's some other things as well that are very strange. I cannot emphasize enough. It was reported that the family authorized the pool service to clean the pool because they said no need to let the place go to, who knows. I would have said nobody is getting near this place. I don't care if the pool rots, cracks. We're trying to find somebody. What are you talking about? And they're saying, no, apparently the Guthries had authorized this. Authorized? No. You're not going to be walking around anywhere, nowhere, 5 miles. Nobody gets near this place. Nobody. They're still doing this. I don't understand this. Then the sheriff just says, it may take years. It may take years before we get to the bottom of this. It may take years to find her. It may take years? What do you mean to find her? You mean to find her body? To find her what? What does that even mean? Why do people, every time they say something, there's no soothing, Every time he says something, or Savannah, there's confusion. What did that mean? Now we find out that the word, I think they said celebrate, was perhaps a code word they used. How about the Post? The New York Post said they went and found all these gloves. These gloves are thrown. All these, apparently this is, they're finding this on their own. I don't get that either. I don't understand any of this. And what I don't understand is you have to ask yourself, what duty does the government have, let's say the FBI, to explain anything to us? Right now, what's the status? Remember, they had a number of, this is very odd, they had a number of deadlines for the first deadline. And now the first deadline is passed, and now the second deadline. What do you mean there's multiple deadlines? What are you talking about? Now, let's go through this. Again, we're trying to piece, it's like we're watching a story that nobody is really explaining to us. I told you, I think I gave you the analogy of, normally when you have if you've ever done a puzzle, you look at the front of the box to see, where we're going. So if somebody hands you a piece of the tile, the puzzle piece, oh, that's the sky. That's a blue piece, and there's the blue part. Yeah, that's over here, and this is the green. They just hand you a piece. They say, here, figure it out. What do you think this is? I don't know. What is this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what this piece is. I don't know how this works. I don't know where do we go with this? And then, here we go. We get into some others. This is Savannah Guthrie. She says, I may not go back to the Today Show ever. Wait a minute. Who cares about that? What do we, this sounds like Stern. Remember Howard Stern, every whatever period of time when he goes through his re-upping, I'm just going to leave. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Howard, every time you do this, nobody cares. Leave, stay, go, it doesn't matter. No, I think I'm going to leave. You're not going to leave. I don't want this anymore. Is this her agent talking? Is this her agent? First of all, who cares about the Today Show? Most probably, nobody leaves the Today Show. How old is she, honey? What is she, about 50? How old is she? 55. She's not going to leave the Today Show. You don't leave that money. You don't leave that money doing nothing. You do nothing. You get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Great. So what? This is ridiculous. Don't do this. Don't pretend to position this or to pivot this against your career. It sounds cheesy. That's one thing. Next, how about the husband? Now, first, he is obviously sort of mobbed up with the Democratic Party. He has been like that since day one. He worked for Joe Lockhart. They had this PR firm, and Lockhart, by the way, sold his house to Obama and Colorama and all this stuff in D.C. And okay, fine. So he's a Dem. Okay. The first person she called was Kelly. All right, fine. Whatever. Does that mean anything? I don't know. It's interesting, though. But here's the best part. This is the best part of them all. This is it. And by the way, speaking of this woman, $40 million net worth. When everybody else, when the Lindbergh babies, when other people, the Hearst family, everybody offered their own reward. She hasn't offered a penny. How do you do this? What is with that? What is going on? Why, if you know she's dead, offer it then also. You got nothing to lose. I don't understand something. Why didn't NBC offer something? That is the weirdest thing. Now, the question you should ask is, well, what do you mean? It's weird. It's weird. I don't know what to tell you. It's weird. It's strange. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I don't get it. Why are you doing this? I don't. 1 minute you're talking about mommy this and mommy that. What did they first offer? What, $2,500? Remember that? Then other people, then it was 50, and then the FBI is offering $100,000. What is the matter with you? Why are you not doing what's so obvious? Do you not have any advice? Is anybody not, isn't your manager or somebody saying, for God's sake, Samantha, offer some money? What about all the deals? What about the first of Harvey Levin? Remember the Bitcoin? The Bitcoin was, we'll give you $6 million of Bitcoin and we'll return her. Then the other one said, well, we'll just ask for one Bitcoin and we will, what's the word? We'll tell you where she is. And then I think they upped that. And then we're not sure. And then there's another one. And I don't know at what stage, who's even talking at all. And then the sheriff says it may take years. Why is he saying that? Years? Is there a reason? Did he do this on purpose? How does that benefit anybody? Cui bono, so to speak. Do the kidnappers, if they will, say, years? No. What do you mean years? We're going to give you the whatever. And how did this start? Everybody has scoured every former cop, every former SWAT team member, every former FBI agent, anybody who's ever lived, who's been a police officer, he's doing it. They're doing it left and right. Look at them. They're coming out of the woodwork, these people. What do I think? What do you think? What do we think? This is what I think. When I did it, I would have done this one. Here's what we do. First of all, you don't know anything. We're not even sure what this thing is. The guy at the camera, that first one wearing the lawnmower backpack and whatever these things are. What? What was that? Is he the killer or the kidnapper? Who is he? How do you know anything? By the way, I was watching Ashley Banfield, and again, I like her. She was saying, why would they have a balaclava? Where can you get a ski mask like that? This is Arizona. Where would you get a ski mask? Where do you get a ski mask in Arizona? She kept asking this. And she had some FBI agent on. Where do you get a ski mask from? Amazon. What the hell's the matter with you? Amazon. You get a ski mask in Hawaii. What are you talking about? What does that mean? And I'm a skier. Skiers don't even wear a ski mask. You look like a killer out there. I mean, they'll go off on these things that don't even matter. But my question is, how do you even know that the person at the ring, at the nest, was the guy? How do you know anything? And what is he, retarded? He comes up and he puts his hand up. And he puts his hand up against the... What? What are you doing? What is he doing? He's putting his hand up in front of the... thing. Uh-huh. Okay. Why is he doing that? I don't know. Okay, well, fair enough. And I don't even know what this guy is even remotely trying to do. Then he goes over and he picks grass or foliage or weeds or something, and he and he grabs them and he puts them in front of the... What is he, blessing this? It's like some sage. Maybe it's some Native American. Maybe he's blessing the nest. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand it. Normally, you say, I understand what the guy's doing. This guy doesn't know. It's like he's never thought about this. He has never, ever thought about any of this stuff. He has thought about nothing. He has thought about absolutely. Now, listen, I love when people say, well, what I would do. You see, what I would do. Well, first of all, we don't know what we're going to do. And you don't know what you're going to do. And I'm sorry, nobody knows what they're going to do. But I think I know what I'm going to do. I think if I'm worried about a ring or a nest or whatever this thing is called, I think what I'm going to do is probably bring a little tape. I don't have to shatter anything. I don't have to spray like they do in the old days in the TVs. I don't have to do any of this stuff. I just cover it up. That's it. Now, I don't know how these things work. I don't know if there's some type of a short circuit that clicks where all of a sudden if it goes black, something happens. I don't know. But I would not spend my time with leaves and and you see his gloves, and he's wearing it. Okay, fine, I guess. Is that the person who went inside? We don't know. We don't know because we don't even know if anybody even went in there. Was she in the bed? Was her bed used, or the sheets back? Is there blood there? And I love the way they're looking at, everybody's a blood splatter expert. This reminds me of O.J. Simpson. How do you know? Well, that's a face wound. Really? How do you know that's a face wound? Well, because you don't know anything. I don't know what it could be. You're 84 years old. You could bruise. When you get older, you're blotchy. You get a nosebleed. Who knows what this is? How do you know anything? All I know is it's hers. Okay. So either she was coming out. Can you tell me, where did this blood start? Is there any inside the house? Then that means they were inside. This guy was. Maybe she fell down and he happened upon her in her time of need. But probably can we know anything about inside? No. They won't tell us that. They won't tell us that. They want us to know about backpacks. If you've seen this backpack, who cares about the backpack? Don't worry about the backpack. This is ridiculous. That's not the point, okay? But what's going on there? Now, did you hear Gutfeld? Gutfeld said, maybe she should take a poly. I think he called it a poly. Maybe they should take a poly. He should take a poly. She should take a poly. And I kind of see what he was saying. Maybe, though it was so inartfully phrased, but something to the effect of, he said maybe if she took the poly, that other people would be, enticed to do so, or maybe they might have done something. Who knows? I mean, there might have been something in which I guess could have done. Who knows? I don't understand this, but they're apparently very upset with him, and I don't think they should be, because, come on, he just said it in passing. But I kind of sort of understand a little bit what he was saying, maybe in a very strange way, in a very odd way. I think what he was saying was something to the effect of, what about this crazy, and I'm saying, what about this crazy, not crazy, I don't know him, Tommaso. Whatever happened with that guy? I kind of feel sorry for him. Ashley Banfield said, that's the guy. I talked to my sources. Now, my sources tell me he is pretty much up there as the suspect number one. He's the guy. He is the guy. He's it. I'm telling you right now. Why? I don't know. We just know that he's the guy. Okay. No. Trust me. Trust me. He's the guy. All right. Well, where is he? Don't know. Is he in town? Don't know. Has he said anything? Don't know. Has he made any suggestions? Don't know. Have you offered anybody the chance to take a polygraph? Don't know. Let me also tell you something. You may not know this, but let me tell you something. Polygraphs are great. Don't let anybody fool you. They really, really work. They are better than anything you can imagine. They're very, very good. I know people don't think they are. They're not admissible in court. So what? Doesn't matter. But the point is, they're excellent. So, whatever happened with him? Don't know. Is he in town? Don't know. Has anybody sat down with him and asked him questions to see whether he would take the fifth? That's a good one. Make him take the fifth. Read Miranda and say, can I ask her? Sure. You have the right to remain silent. No, I understand. Where were you? Here's what happened. Is she okay? And you can also tell by the way they act during the course of this. Not everybody's a good actor. I saw somebody else hired yet another one of these ridiculous body experts, body language experts, which is the biggest joke in the world. Come on. You don't know. And they actually showed how the fellow walked up, how he walked up the step. He's got this thing on his back. I don't know what the hell's in there, but he's got this lawnmower, this Sherpa thing on his back. Looks like he's a rig, for the 82nd Airborne. He gets to jump out of a plane. I don't understand what they're talking about. Well, watch the way he walks. The way he walks? They're desperate for some new avenue of how to. And some people say it could be a woman. Don't know. Are there other people? Don't know. What is this? Do we have any ideas? Do we have any ideas? So far, everybody has been let go. Remember when they stopped and they had tarps up and they were looking at cars. They were interviewing people and nothing. They went to some poor guy's house. That's not the guy. They haven't found anybody. Everybody they stop and talk to, it's the wrong guy. It's not important. Now let me ask you something. What do you think was this? Let me ask my good crowner, what do you think? What was this first and foremost? Was it a kidnapping? Was it a botched robbery? A robbery gone bad? A burglary gone bad? Was it a combination? A home invasion gone bad? Was it happenstance? Did the person who went to that house, did they know who she was vis-a-vis her very rich daughter? Do you think so? Is that what it was about? Was this a kidnapping for ransom? And do you believe the ransom? How do we know that the ransom report or demand that went to TMZ, I think they said something about, they mentioned something that only the kidnapper would know. Maybe. Do you think, though, that $6 million in Bitcoin? Now, what I've said to you repeatedly, if I had to pick a story that I think at least sort of makes sense, that I could deal with, and there's no evidence of it, but at least to me, somewhat plausible, and that is the idea of you got a bunch of Mexicans, and Mexicans are very used to, in their country, the idea of ransom, of kidnapping. You hear about it all the time. Abductions for ransom. You hear it. Somebody said one time in Mexico City that Americans are warned, be careful there. Be careful. They abduct you for less. Okay, fine. Somebody could have been there. Somebody could have been a worker. Somebody could have been a pool person. Somebody could have been somebody installing. Who knows? I don't know. A DoorDash. Somebody comes up. I don't know. And they said, we will do it. Because the thing is, she's not inside. That's where we get into the whole notion of kidnapping. If it was a botched burglary, if it was something that was just, it would either left her there, tied her, or killed her. Why would you want to remove her unless it was a kidnapping? What would be the point of it? That's a lot of work, and you got to put her in a car or something, and you got to risk being caught. You don't know what happens when you leave. All of a sudden, these Mexicans are driving, saying, "What are you doing here at this time of night? Stop! Open the trunk. What's going on here?" So they risk that. So either way, they're moving, and this is the most important. They're moving, which is very critical. They're moving this person later away from the house. Could they have been involved in something else? Is there any other alternative theory that you can think of other than kidnapping? And why would you kidnap somebody? We don't kidnap in this country. You just don't hear it. Ransom? They abduct, they take, they steal, they kidnap under that particular version of the statute, where you take somebody or confine them for the purposes of, sexual activity, or for something else. But a ransom note? When was the last time you heard that? What, Getty? The Getty case? I don't know. It doesn't make any, it's weird. But the idea that, and by the by, when this person was walking up, the way he had his weapon slung in this particular way, they call that a, quote, Mexican style, or a Mexican sling, or a Mexican something. Somebody somewhere said, oh yes, that is a common way that Mexicans carry their firearms. Do you believe that? Does that make sense to you? Is that remotely possible? So what are the things next? Where are we going next with this? Think about this. Whatever happened to the offer? What about the $6 million? Did it come through? You said you'll pay. Did you pay? What is the purpose of having all of this sheriff who wants the attention, I guess, without telling us anything? And by the way, do we have a duty to know this? Do we have a duty to know any of this? Does it make sense to you? Do we have a duty to know it? Is this incumbent upon us to know what's going on? Why are they doing this? And so far, the people who are there, the folks who were there watching, and by the way, everybody and their mothers covering this. And the reason why is very simple. We live in a true crime world, which is number one. We live in a true crime world, but we also live in a world where we just love kind of whodunits. Oh, and by the way, one thing about Savannah Guthrie, and this is the most important. If you go back and listen to her when she tore into, I don't know if it was a debate or I don't know what the hell it was. She tore into Trump. And he said, do you understand that people believe that there were pedophile rings, satanic? Can you believe this? Well, guess what? Ta-da! Everything that was the possibility of being nuts is now in the offing. Johnny Jelaine says, is going to take the talents of Hannibal Lecter and Clarice Starling to solve the case. You know, thank you, brother. You're not, well, I know it's a joke, but we need something other than what we've got here. But think about this, and thank you again. Think about this. Everything, this world post-Epstein, everything's possible. Everything is possible. Everything is beyond possible. Everything is incredibly possible and likely and beyond the beyond anything anybody could even imagine. Everything is. We're talking about this Zorro Ranch, bodies buried and children. I mean, I can't even tell you. It's bizarre. And they got this twit. And by the way, I'm sorry for the Guthrie family, but whenever you have somebody who's always grinning like that, always grinning, always smiling, always saying, look, see how happy I am? See? They're full of shit. I've seen this my whole life. Nobody laughs like that. Nobody smiles. Nobody's that nicey. Remember Ann Curry, Hoda Kotb, whatever. Where do they get these people from? They're just this effusive. They're not real. Kathy Lee, even Bush's daughter. It's like, what is this? You're so nice and nicey. I don't buy any of this crap. Their whole life is phony. Their whole thing is, we love you. You're our friend. I'm your friend. Until they give her this idea to tear him to Trump. And by the way, everything that was crazy then, not anymore. Not anymore. And that's where we are right now. So the sad part is, dear friends, the sad part is, I do not believe, you may disagree, but I do not believe that this woman is going to make it alive. I do not believe she's going to be found, or if they do, they may be, she may be found because of other reasons. I don't know who's to blame. I don't know if you can blame anybody, but I'm saying I would have offered that either the ransom or a reward, $1 million to anybody who turns these people in. Nothing from Samantha Guthrie. Nothing. Unless somehow she's done it through some particular channel. But if we don't know about it, what good is it? What if I'm sitting back and I'm saying, I know exactly who this is. I know this. Why? Well, I know this guy. I work with him. He's Mexican. And they were talking. He didn't think I spoke Spanish, but I did. And he said that he's going to get his cousin, Pepito, Pedrito, whatever, and they were going to go. I heard this, but I thought, they're drunk and they're free. But that's exactly what's going on. But I'm not going to stick my neck out. No way. These people are sick. $1 million? What's the number? There would have been no chance for anybody to possibly walk away without doing something. I would have made sure that I would have done everything in my power. How is this? I don't. And I want to know more about this brother-in-law. Has he said anything? D Star says, hi, Lionel. Danielle from Brooklyn here. Off topic, sorry. But did you see the new Wolves of Finance fraud at Fort Huachuca episode? I certainly did not, but I will give it a chance. Thank you so much. That's, of course, the latest goings on regarding candy. Some of that internecine stuff, as far as the fraud, I guess he did. Remember, he received a cease and desist for suggesting all of these problems, whatever. That case, and Candace is going, I'll tell you the one that's really brutal. Did you see Ben Shapiro attack her, Candace, by mispronouncing words? Did you see that one? Oh my God. Ben, enough. Go away, Ben. Ben, nobody likes you, Ben. I don't know how Ben Shapiro can misunderstand this. You're doing nothing to help the cause. Whatever the hell the cause is. You are universally despised because you're a jerk and a prick. And that's the way that goes. So that's going there. Now, one more thing before I told you. Did you see this fellow, David Gelernter? David Gelernter is he is this Yale mathematician, math professor. And he, along with David Berlinski and Stephen Meyer, did something which was so important. And nobody's going to bring this up. They were one of the folks who were suggesting that maybe the intelligent design theory may make sense because of the Cambrian explosion. That mathematically and heuristically and paleontologically, you cannot all of a sudden have this explosion of life without there being, in essence, God, an intelligent design. No gradual change, no gradual interstitial Darwinian mechanics, natural selection model can explain this slow, and then bang, this one explosion. What he did by trying to blaspheme Charles Darwin is a no-no. Do not dismiss what I'm saying. Do not dismiss. There are so many levels. There are people out there. There is the professional atheist group, the people who believe that God does not exist, that there is no God, that there's no interposition of God in anything, that's suggesting remotely that God might be responsible for anything is bizarre. These people are the last holdouts. And if you think the people that you've met are crazy, you haven't met these people. Stephen Salty says, the Lionel Lynn Army is legion. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Stephen Salty. Appreciate that, sir, immensely. There's so much stuff. And let me just go back to what I was saying. The Epstein stuff is unbelievable. I'm going to say this again. Are you following what's going on in X? I can't say it here. Remember the Wiener laptop? Remember this? Remember the Wiener laptop? Remember discussions of oxidized adrenaline and all kinds of stuff? They're revisiting everything. You name it. The stuff that would get you crazy. Thank you, Edie. We love you, doll. She's a member for 25 months, Edie Crowley. Thank you. Everything that you thought, they told you, you are out of your mind. You are so sick. You're so disgusting. You're sick. It's like nothing happened. Elon said, go ahead. I am shocked. And that's why when I watch these old pictures, these old things of Savannah Guthrie and all these others, when we were at our most conspiracy crazy, nothing could have possibly in any way hinted at how depraved the world was. I mean, we had an idea, but not like this. We had no idea how many people were involved. We didn't know any of this. Another thing, please listen to the words of Steve Bannon interviewing Epstein. Did you ever hear Bannon and Epstein? Epstein's a cretin. He's a cretin. He may know other stuff. He may know. I mean, he knows everybody. This guy was so connected, but knew nothing. Listen to his words. Listen to his way of thinking. Listen to how he speaks. Listen. It's unreal. It is unbelievable. He talks about fractional reserve banking. He sounded like a 7-year-old. This is the genius? What about this woman? Did you see the one girl he gave all the properties to and the 30-carat ring and all? How do you not seize if these properties were the part of some ongoing criminal activity, some ongoing racketeering, how can you dispose of them via will? How does that work? You mean to tell me that the Sinaloa cartel, I can give you properties that I stole or that I acquired through my sick networks? I can pass them on in a will to you? And do you hear what's happening for the next time also? Oh, here we go. Jeff says, a burglary, but she saw their face. They panicked and took her. No. Well, thank you. But why not just put it this way? Tie her up. Or, off her. Take her? No, you're right. They could. Take her? Gorilla Bob says 2 questions. I haven't seen pictures of the front door smash nest cam. Have you? Nope. How would anyone know if Nancy was home at 2 a.m.? Best wishes. Great question. I don't know. I might have been watching her, tailing her outside, watching Tommaso drop her off. Remember the garage door? I think she might have gone into the garage door. Who goes through the front door? Who goes through the front door? Who commits burglary by going through the front door? You go through a window in the front with the lights and the whole bit. Who? With all of this stuff on this. Now people were saying, well, there's a tarp inside the. I don't know about that. These people could also be retarded. They're going to be lousy, stupid at this. Now somebody also said, the only reason for this is kidnapping, whatever, is a grudge. Somebody held a grudge. Somebody held a grudge. A grudge of what? Against whom? Savannah? Her? The old lady? A grudge for what? When you go through this, there's a lot of working pieces of this. I would say there's no way I'm going to go. A grudge? Okay, kill the broad or whatever. That's fine. But this? It could have been simple. You can go through a window, looks like a burglary, do her in and leave. But I want to know what's inside the house. What happened there? Was there a mess? Was it even used? Did she ever make it to the bed? Did she ever make it inside? Who knows? Why are they telling us nothing? And where's Savannah now? And why is she talking about whether she could, I may not go back at the Today Show. Who cares about you? You see, it's always about them. It's always about them. Every time you turn around. Meanwhile, this woman, whether you like her or not, does anybody here think there's a chance she could be alive? Yes or no? Is she alive? Yes or no? Give me 1 for yes, 2 for no. Anybody? Tell me. Who thinks she could be kept? Maybe some Mexican old woman is taking care of her, maybe feeding her, maybe watching. Does anybody think does it make sense to you? Any of this? Does anybody get? No. I don't think anybody. 15 days? 15 days? And the sheriff is saying, we're probably never going to find her. Find her? Find her? It'll take years. Excuse me, years. Pardon me. I'm rephrasing it. This is unreal. Did Kash Patel ever show up? I hope not. Did he show up with his raid jacket? I remember he said, "I'm coming down there." President Trump said, "You better get to the bottom of this." It absolutely, the idea of keeping somebody, you know what, they might have kept her alive maybe a day or two or whatever it was, but when they realized this isn't working, these things are wrapped up very quickly. Here's what I want. Here's what's going on. How do I know? Give me a picture. Take a picture. Do something. They must have thought this through. We will send you the money. Somehow people are going to have to avoid the detection. Now, where is she? It's got to be right there in that area. And then they're doing flyovers. They look for Wi-Fi, and they're looking for different things. And they're doing it now. And why would they let the pool people? This kills me. Why would the family say, I got to take care of that pool? Could get some mustard algae. So the leaves really. I would have nobody near that. No. In fact, I think the news crews are too close. Standing in front, nobody near it. Nobody gets near this place. It'll be so sterile. Anything that we find, we know it was not dropped off by somebody else. And then eventually we're going to get into this thing where they're going to say, okay, now what do we do? Now what do we do? But see, here's the thing. People are making up some very important things. They're saying, the husband worked for Clinton, and Clinton and this, and Clinton, and Epstein. What does that have to do with anything? No, it's interesting. You're right, though. But what does this have to do with anything? What does this have to do? How does this work? He worked for Clinton, and she's a Dem. Mark Kelly's a Dem. I think Gabby Giffords is from Pima County. And they're all Dems, okay? And yeah, there was the Epstein connection. What? What is it? What does that mean? You go, yeah, well, okay, I'm working with you. What does that mean? What does that mean? Meanwhile, the Epstein case, nobody's watching that. Whether you like it or not, this is a great distraction, don't you think? It's funny how that works, isn't it? Think about all the stuff we're not talking about. All the stuff we're not talking about. When that one, my wife was talking about a little girl who was dismembered. In fact, nobody cares about that. But this we're going through. What are we going through? And it gives the Harvey Levitt's and the TMZs and others the chance to do something to maybe up their numbers, which is fine. And I dig it. I understand it. I have no problem with that. And I kind of like this Ashley Banfield because I get the feeling, I know this may sound strange, but I get the feeling that maybe she was removed from her job because she might be older. She might be a woman. Maybe she was getting a little long in the tooth, as they say. You know how they treat women like shit in the world of media and the like. So I'm kind of glad she's there. I hope she does well. She's very smart. Very good stuff, good presentation. I like that. I like seeing independent groups like this. And they're also giving Gutfeld whatever he said. This isn't. He said it inartfully. He didn't mean anything by it. It wasn't well thought. It wasn't. Like a joke is rehearsed. It's not. Don't go extemp on it. So that's where that is with where we are. So my friends, it remains to be seen. So stay tuned right here. We could also go back. I'm waiting for a little new candy news. I'm waiting for something a little bit different. A little bit different with that one. When do you think Erica's gone? When do you think Erica Kirk has finally said, you got to go? You got to go. You got to get out of here. This is just too much. You are just too creepy. Did you see the fish fillets? Did you see that? All these, that's the new one now? Do you think that Erica might be, playing for the other team or curious, ambisexual, kind of all over the place, maybe open for looking for love and all of that. Do you think maybe she might be Not what we thought? Do you think maybe she's all over the place? Do you think maybe she's anything and everything? How much more can the head of the CEO of TPUSA, how much can she withstand any of this? How much? How much more? What more negative news do they take before they say, all right, that's it. We got it. This is not about Candace. This is about you. Honey, you got to go. You've got to go. You have got to go. It's unbelievable. There is so much. My friends, I want to tell you, there is no better time in the world to be alive than now. And I want to also tell you that I thank you. You are the best. You're the most inquisitive. You're the most curious. You're the most suspicious. You are phenomenal. And I love you for this. And I thank you. I also thank you for following Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. I thank you for that immensely. And I also thank you for being so just brilliant. You don't let anything go by. And remember, everything that we said that they told us was crazy about is now coming through. 100%. And they don't even know what we're talking about, but we do. So thank you, my friends. To my my Super Chat donors tonight, thank you so much. Much love, much appreciated. Thank you so much for this. I didn't want the weekend to go before we spoke. Please keep following us. Please keep following here. Make sure you're subscribed. Like this. That little act of liking does so much to put it on the trajectory, and we thank you for that. My friends, have a great night. Thank you so much for everything. We will see you mañana. Remember, be very, very careful. It's a new day. And by the way, tonight, or morning, from 1 to 5 overnights on WABC. Tune into The Other Side of Midnight with me, Lionel. That's 77 WABC. You can get the app and you can find that out. In any event, thank you. Have a great and glorious day. And as we always say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.